What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing which age group in the UFC has the best fighters. Now, how I'm going to determine this is I've gotten every single top 10 fighter plus every champion in the UFC right now, and I've sorted them all into age groups based on how old they are. And as such, we've figured out which age group currently has the best UFC fighters. There's some that really don't have too many, like the younger and the way older age groups, like Tatsuro Taira's 24, Stipe Miocic is 42. Like, those are the opposite ends of the spectrum. There's only one for each of those categories, but a lot of those middle categories in the 30s or in the late 20s have some really good fighters, so we're going to be determining which has the best in today's video. Now, I just saw on my YouTube recommended feed that Harry1of1 posted a video discussing the best fighter by age group in the UFC, and I fully intend on releasing that video in the next couple of days. And to clear my name and for people to not say that I'm taking his video ideas, I posted both of these 3 days ago, which is before he released his video. So I'm gonna fucking post this video, and you guys can't tell me that I'm fucking stealing content, because I literally started working on this 3 days ago. So that's just to clear my name. But first of all, let's get into, that's out the way. Let's get into the video. So right off the bat, Tatsuro Taira is the only 24-year-old in the top 10 of the UFC. I think he's the only top 10 or top 15 fighter that's 24 years old right now, to be honest. Maybe there's some in the women's divisions. Who cares about them? I'm not counting them. But in terms of the men's divisions, Tatsuro Taira is the only one who's 24 or younger in the UFC that's ranked. Makayev was, but, you know, that man got kicked out, so tough for him. But right now, 24-year-olds, obviously, it's prospect age. They're climbing up the rankings. They're not quite there yet, but Tatsuro Taira is there yet, so, or is there now, so fair play to him. Obviously 24-year-olds don't have many ranked fighters. But let's move on to the next age group. Next up, Michael Morales at 25. Now, this dude's not top 10, and he's just beat Magny. He's going to be ranked number 12 in the UFC rankings, but he's the only 25-year-old in the UFC male rankings that I could, in the top 15 that I could find. So I'm just going to put him in the video because I don't care, and I can't be fucked skipping over one age group. So Morales representing for the 25-year-olds, which there's not many of. But let's move on to the next age group. 26, the first age group with multiple fighters in it. Song Yadong at bantamweight, and then Ian Gary at welterweight are the two UFC fighters in the top 10 that are 26 years of age. Some solid fighters here. You know, Song Yadong's been around for a hot minute. He's fucking fought a whole lot of guys. I don't know how this dude's 26. I think he debuted when he was like 20 or some shit. Ian Gary, Cucciato, he's been around for a bit too, debuted I think in 2021. So these guys, some of them have gotten in real early and they've climbed to the top relatively quickly. Ian Gary's had, I think, like 8 UFC fights, so he's still slow-rolled it, but he just fights he's very active. 26 have, the 26-year-old age gap, or age group, I should say, has two pretty top-level fighters. So good for them. But let's move on to 27. 27 years old, we got Ilia Topuria as the featherweight champion, Arman Sayukian as the number 1 ranked lightweight contender, and then Jack Della Maddalena as, I think, the number 4 or 5 welterweight contender. I want to say number 5, because for some reason they have Colby ahead of him. 27, only 3 fighters in the top 10 across out of a good 80, 85 or whatever. But still 3 very good fighters. They've got a champion, they've got a number 1 contender who's next up for the belt, and they got a guy who's probably 1 win away from a title as well. So the 27-year-olds, they're going to be representing, and this time next year we'll probably have some more 27-year-olds who are already going to be ranked, because there's some guys that are climbing up the they got Gene Silver's 27 as well, I'm pretty sure. So he's not quite in the rankings yet, but he will be soon. 27 years old is kind of around that age where people start really making a push and start climbing into the rankings. Of course, Ilya's already champ. But for the most part, 27's where a lot of guys start making their ascent. Let's move on to the next age group, though. Next up, 28-year-olds. There's 3 of them. Umar Nurmagomedov, who's the number 2 bantamweight in the world. Brendan Allen, who I think is the number 7 or 6, I think 7 middleweight in the world, and then Nasruddin Imavov, who's the number 4 middleweight in the world. So 2 middleweights at 28 years old who are both going to be actually fighting each other in about a month's time in Paris. And then Umar, great Dagestani prospect, just beat Corey Sandhagen, unfortunately. He's a very good fighter. So 28-year-olds definitely making a push in the UFC, of course. Let's move on though to the next age group. 29, this is where some things get serious. Steve Erceg, who, apart from losing to Kai, arguably was the flyweight champion, arguably got robbed by Pantoja. Sean O'Malley, the bantamweight champion currently right now, great fighter. Shavkat Rakhmonov, who is the number one contender at welterweight, next up for the belt, probably is going to win it as well. And then Sergey Spivak, who's kind of letting down the group, but still a solid fighter coming off a first-round win against Marcin Tybura. So yeah, the 29-year-olds have some great fighters. You know, O'Malley, champion. Shavkat, probably a future champion. Who the fuck else is there? Who did I forget? Spivak, probably not a future champion. Why am I going blank? Who's the other fucking person? Anyway, who cares? But yeah, 29 is definitely around that age where you're starting to get into your physical prime. Still got a bit of like maturing to do in terms of like a lot of them a bit retarded fight IQ wise. I think BSD is maybe 28. There's some of these fighters, because I left out the guys from 10 to 15. I only did top 10. Because you'll see in a couple of these next age groups, it takes a lot of room up on the screen to put all of the fighters. But yeah, 29-year-olds definitely making a push in the UFC. Let's move on to the next age group though. 30 is where you tick over from like that kind of prospect age into the real fighters, you know, the real contenders that people are considering like established guys in the divisions. Brandon Moreno at flyweight, former champion. Amir Albazi, top 5 guy. Manel Kape, top 10 guy, all at flyweight. Arnold Allen, Movsarevlev, both top 5 or top 10 featherweights. Dricus du Plessis, obviously the current South African, real African, be the African champion in the UFC. And then Marvin Vettori, Mr. Blockhead himself, just an absolute punching bag of a ting. He's at middleweight, sorry. So yeah, we got 7 pretty solid top 10 fighters for the 30-year-old age gap or age group. And yeah, this is where fighters really start. Like, a lot of these guys have been around. Like, Moreno's been around for ages. Dricus has like had a whole fucking half a UFC career by now. Like, some of these guys have already been in the UFC for ages. So yeah, Vettori's fucking been around for 10 years almost. So yeah, some of these guys get in real young. Pause, but no Drake. That sounded so bad out of context. But yeah, 30-year-olds definitely making a push in the UFC. Definitely a very solid age group. Let's move on to the 31-year-olds. Again, a real solid age for UFC fighters, especially top-level guys. Kai Kara-France, top 5 flyweight. Nicolau, top 10 flyweight. Peter Yan, former champion, top 5 bantamweight. Chito Vera, top 10 bantamweight. Yair Rodriguez, former interim champion. Rafael Fiziev, top 10 lightweight. Sean Brady, top 10 welterweight. Yuri, former champion, top 5 light heavyweight. And then Tom Aspinall, the real heavyweight champion. So yeah, I also, if you haven't already picked it up, I'm going across in like weight class order, because I started at flyweight and I went through each division. Instead of just like looking up all the fighters and trying to find their ages individually. Like, I just was like, go through one division, scatter them all everywhere, and then do it. Instead of like, okay, let me find all of the 27-year-olds and then put them all on. Like, that would have just taken ages. But yeah, 31-year-olds, definitely a very solid group of fighters. Bunch of champions, or not right now, but yeah, a couple former champions, couple top 5 guys. So yeah, the 31-year-olds definitely well and truly in their prime and representing on the main stage. Let's move on though to the next age group. Now, 32 is widely considered like prime years. A lot of people get referred to like in their prime when they're around 31, 32. And yeah, you can see here with this group of guys, a lot of very good fighters. Royval, number 1 ranked flyweight. Perez, top 10 flyweight. Corey Sandhagen, top 5 bantamweight. Max, former champion, top number 2 ranked featherweight. Islam, lightweight champ. Leon, former champion, number 1 ranked welterweight. Ankalaev, in most people's books, probably the number 1 ranked light heavyweight. Rakic, top 5 light heavyweight. Krylov, top 10 light heavyweight. Walker, top 10 light heavyweight. And then Sergey Pavlovich, former interim title challenger, top 5 heavyweight. So yeah, the 32-year-olds, that's really the epitome of like just top level. Some of these guys are climbing a little bit, but most of them have just well and truly been around for ages. They're not veterans, but like, you know, the veteran age is like 35 plus in a lot of people's books. But these guys have been established. They've been in the UFC for ages. Fans know who they are. Everyone knows who these guys are. And yeah, these are the big names that you see on cards, a lot of them. Let's move on, though, to the next age group. Again, a lot of top guys. Marab, number 1 bantamweight. Ortega, top 5 featherweight. Gamrot, top 10 lightweight. Neal, top 10 welterweight. Strickland and Whitaker, both top 5 middleweights. Costa, top 10 middleweight. Olberg and Hill, both top 5 and then top 10 light heavyweights respectively, and then Blades and Almeida both top 10 heavyweights. So yeah, these 33-year-olds, similar again, very like this is around that prime age, prime years, where you're getting the good work in. Surprisingly here, no current champions. Strickland, Whitaker, obviously former champions, Jamal Hill, former champion, but not a couple former title challengers, couple future title challengers like Marab. But yeah, no current champions in the 33-year-old age group, which I do think will hold them back if you're like ranking who's number one, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. But let's move on to the next age group. Next up, 34-year-olds. This is right before the curse, the 35 curse. Why does this look like just the most retarded like group of friends that are just all so different? Apart from like Oliveira and Pantoja. We got fucking Pantoja, little midget Brazilian. Oliveira. We got Dan Hooker, just like some tattoo addict there. We got Ozdemir looking like just a fucking henchman. Khalil Roundtree, you know, the troublemaker of the group, if you know what I'm saying, for no particular reason. And then just Gane, who's just chilling, just some French dude. Like, why is this like the epitome of like average like male friend groups? All of them just so completely randomly different. But yeah, these 35-year-olds, or 34-year-olds, I should say, current champion with Pantoja, two top five lightweights, which is, in my opinion, toughest division in the sport with Oliveira and Dan Hooker. Ozdemir, Roundtree, two solid light heavyweights, and then Gane as well, former interim champion, former title challenger, Cyril Gane. Yeah, again, just average male friend group. Let's move on, though, to the 35-year-olds. 35 is, like, a lot of fan favourites because this is around the age where, like, the 35 curse, fans start getting worried if these guys are going to fall off. Like, Volkanovski, Aljo, Poirier, Gaethje, Izzy, like, those guys are all fan favourites. I mean, Aljo's not a fan favourite. I don't know why Izzy is, but he is. But then, like, Benny and Volkov, both solid fighters in their own respects. But yeah, the 35-year-old, that's where the 35 curse comes into play. That's when people start going, maybe this guy's washed, and they start rooting for him to win even more than they were before. They start getting nervous. But yeah, this is really the key turning point from when you see if fighters just completely fall off, or if they stick around and they make themselves a even more known figure, I guess, in the sport. I mean, they're already fucking known figures, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, 35's that age where you either kind of dip off or you stay around and then you reach crafty vet status, like Lucas Tracy would say. But let's move on to the next age group. 36-year-olds, Figgy, Cater, Giga, Bilal, Colby, Hermanson, Rosenstrike. All very good fighters. Current champion there, I think. Who's the current champion? Bilal. Remember the name. Your man Bilal. Too many decisions coming out of Bilal, fella, yeah? But 36-year-olds, again, this is, again, that age group where the guys are like, maybe they're falling off, maybe they're not. They're solid fighters. They've been around for ages. Figgy, Bilal, Cater, like, somehow Giga's 36. Oh, I think he might turn 36 tomorrow. I just put him as 36 because I didn't know when this video was going to come out. So I'm like, I'll just fucking, bump him up to the next group. But yeah, the 36-year-olds, Colby, Hermanson, like some kind of irrelevant fighters there with like Hermanson, Rosenstrike. But some really good fighters. Former champion Figueiredo, current champion Balal Mohammed. Remember the Plains. And yeah, 36-year-old fighters still doing pretty well for themselves. Let's move on though to the next age group. Next up, the 37-year-olds. This is the real crafty vets. Apart from like Pereira and Jones, like Tim Elliott, Henry Cejudo, Jose Aldo, Rob Font, Kamaru Usman. Like, these are the crafty vets. This is who Lucas is talking about when he's talking about crafty vets. Tim Elliott is a crafty vet. But Cejudo, Aldo, former champions, of course. Usman as well, former champion. So these guys is like the legend age where you're like, you look back and you be like, that was a good career, man. But you forget, man, I was a Olympic wrestling champion, guys. Triple C guys. Cejudo. But like, apart from Pereira and Jones, who are current, like, active champions, obviously, even though Jones is, like, the only champion he is the fucking champion of ducking. But, yeah, Pereira is, like, holding fort for the 37-year-olds, because all of these are... I mean, Aldo's not washed, but, like, Tim Elliott, Cejudo, Font, Usman, like, these guys are kind of washed. But Pereira's holding down the fort as the chief of the 37-year-olds. Let's move on, though, to the next fighter, or next group of fighters. 38, I don't know what the fuck this group of people is. Michael Chandler, Gilbert Burns, and then Marcin Tybura. Just the most random fucking trio you'll ever see in your life. Chandler, been waiting for fucking 2 years. If I'd done this video the last time he fought, he would have been in the fucking 36-year-old age group or whatever, maybe even 35. Gilbert Burns got a fight coming up against Sean Brady, still a very solid, established top 10 welterweight. And then Tabora is just shit, he's just fat. But yeah, solid fighters in the 38, but these are like past Crafty vet, because a lot of the older guys that were the champions and stuff, a lot of them do retire around this age. A lot of them actually don't make it past 38 in their careers. But anyway, let's move on to the 39-year-olds. I said 39-year-olds, there's only one of them, Josh Emmett, Big Meaty Hooks himself. Big Meaty Hooks, he's a Crafty vet. But Josh Emmett, he's holding down the fort for the 39-year-olds. He's the only one right now. There might be some outside the top 10, in the top, like, from 10 to 15. I just didn't include them in this video. Let me know. I think, like, Magny, I think he's 37. Who else is kind of up there in age? Who's up there in age? Barboza, I think, would be up there, I assume. Like, a lightweight, maybe. RDA, if he's still ranked at lightweight for some reason, he might be up there. Bobby Green's definitely up there. Like, Luke's not. Anyone else? Light heavyweight. Anthony Smith would be up there. But yeah, I haven't included the guys outside the top 10. But yeah, Josh Emmett right now, big slugger, Big Meaty Hooks himself, is the only guy right now at 39 in the top 10. But 40-year-olds, fucking hell, these guys are ancient. Oh, I thought it was multiple. It's just Cannonier. He just got beat the fuck out of by Barallo. Tough for Cannonier. But yeah, 40. You're 40 years of age. Just your fucking age. What you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read. But Cannonier is 40. He is a man. He's 40, as John Anik would say. But yeah, tough for Cannonier. Just I started planning out this video before the Barallo fight, and then I actually didn't. Barallo is not in this video because... Oh, no, he is. Did I put Barallo on this? Fuck, I forgot to put Barallo on this video. How old's Barallo? Sorry. I'm pulling up my computer right now. Caio Borralho. Because I got rid of Dolidze because he would have been kicked out, but he was in there. Let me see. Caio Borralho. How old's Borralho? He's got to be in his 20s, yeah? He's 31. So you can put Borralho in with the 31-year-olds. I forgot him because, again, I did the set out for this video before the fight. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next age group. 31-year-olds, these are the real Crafty vets. Stephen Thompson, Jan Blachowicz, these guys have been around for ages. Just still doing it, though. Still, like, very solid fighters. It's not like when you think 41-year-old, you think over the hill, way past their peak. But Blachowicz is still slugging away with his big, ugly low kicks, and Stephen Thompson still doing his crafty taekwondo kicks, or karate kicks, whatever. So yeah, these two guys, both very solid. Let's move on, though, to the last fighter. Stipe Miocic, who debatably, well, not even debatably, he shouldn't even be in the rankings at this point. Crazy how you cannot fight since, like, 2021 and still be ranked. But yeah, he's 42. He's an ancient old man. But yeah, that is the video. First of all, I'm just going to go back through it in terms of, I think it comes down to like 31, 32, and 33, I would say. You know, 34's got some decent ones, Pantoja, Oliveira, but like I think it's 31, 32, and 33. So let's just look at those again real quick to decide who is the best age group. All right, so I looked back through 31 and they really don't have anyone that good. So just 32, looking again. Number 1 ranked Royval, number 6 ranked Perez, number 4 ranked Sandhagen. Holloway's ranked in 2 divisions, number 2 at featherweight, number 9 at lightweight. Champion is Makachev, number 1 Leon Edwards, number 2 Ankalaev, number 5 Rakic, number 6 Krylov, number 9 Walker, number 4 Pavlovich. Very solid lineup there. Let's take a quick look at 33. Number 1, Marab. Number 3, Ortega. Number 8, Gamrot. Number 10, Neal. Number 1, Strickland. Number 3, Whitaker. Number 8, Costa. Number 3, Hill. Number 10, Olberg. Number 5, Blades. Number 6, Almeida. Yeah, without the champion, I would say there's not much competition. I think 32 is pretty clearly the best age group. There's some other underrated ones. 34, 35, both pretty solid. But also in terms of like who's on the upside or who's in their peaks right now. Like the 35-year-olds, none of them are climbing up to a belt. A lot of them have just lost their belts or they're losing fights. But like it's the 31, 32, 33-year-olds that are in their peak that are either about to fight for belts, already have a belt, or maybe are still coming up. So yeah, 32 in my opinion with that lineup that I showed you before. with a champion with multiple number one contenders compared to 33, who only has Strickland and Marab ranked at number one in their weight classes. But yeah, 32 in my opinion is definitively the best age in the UFC in terms of quality of fighters right now. But let me know in your opinion, which age group do you think has the best fighters, or which age group has your favorite fighters? That's a better question because that's more objective. This one's a bit like, or more subjective. This one's pretty like, yeah, I mean, you can't really debate it. But favorite fighters, which age group has your favorite fighters? Let me know in the comments. Thanks. Again, I didn't fucking steal anyone's video. I was planning this days ago. So yeah, I'm going to do the other video and I'm not going to care if someone goes in the comments and says, you're stealing content. Fucking retards. But anyway, see you guys. Peace out.